Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
You did something we don't normally do. You teased this beer.
I did.
In the last episode, a couple weeks ago.
But did we have two little guys standing like this at the bottom of the page? You know? Stay tuned.
The little...
Gotta have that going on.
We need to get a green screen so we can do stuff
We
like
do.
that.
So we just did an episode just a few minutes ago on your cream ale.
Right.
Which you can show them.
Right here.
Right there. It might be fun to compare them, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And so I brewed a actually quite similar beer, completely by accident. But what I was doing, and there needs to be a little backstory here.
Okay.
So I recently moved
Uh-huh.
to a rental home while our new home is being built. So I'm in kind of a state of uproar. I don't know where things are. Flux. So, but I needed and wanted to brew a beer, and I had not brewed a beer in a year.
Oh, my.
At all. So what I did is I brewed an extract beer. Because I could do it on the stovetop. All I needed to do was I actually used my canning. I canned tomatoes and things. I got the canning pot out. Did an extract beer with a little specialty grain, traditional extract beer. And I thought it would be good to remind folks that you can make great beers.
Yes.
Using DME.
Yes.
Which is what I did, and I hope you
dry malt extract.
like the beer. Yeah, dry malt extract.
Yeah,
So
I love brewing extract.
So this beer...
Shall I?
You want to pour?
Pour while you talk?
And I used the Omega Kveik, say it?
Lutra.
Lutra. The Kveik Lutra strain, which was given to us at HomebrewCon.
For free.
For free. And had it handy, so I thought, well, shoot, I'm going to try it. I did do this I brewed it at room temperature, or as I like to call it, in the Carver Center for Fermentation, known as the spare bathroom. So about 72 degrees. That's about where we keep 72, 73 degrees is where that room's at. The beer, the recipe is 5 pounds of Pilsen DME, 1 pound of wheat DME, all from Briess, and 4 ounces of Victory malt, which was also given to us at HomebrewCon, a little sample pack.
Oh, that's right.
So I had a little 4-ounce sample pack. I thought
From Briess, yeah.
From Briess. So I did the specialty grain, where you crack it. I didn't have any of my fancy tools, so I had to go back to using a rolling pin in a Ziploc bag.
Right. I
did that.
Yeah, I did that the other day.
And the only fancy thing I had was one of those hop spider things, or hop tubes. So I put the hops and the grain in that and let them steep, so I didn't have any mess to deal with, no bags or anything. Worked really great. So I had that. So I steeped the grains until it came up to the 160 degree mark, took the grains out, added all the malt in, not under power so that it wouldn't boil over, and did a 15-minute boil. Once it came to the boil, I added 2 ounces, two in one. I added 2 ounces of Huell melon. He was a nice guy,
He was
but he didn't like
Carnegie
it.
Mellon's brother.
Carnegie Mellon's brother. But I added his hopness. I had 2 ounces of Huell melon at 5.2 alpha acid for 15 minutes.
Oh.
But actually, in some ways, perhaps longer than that, though I did remove the hops at the end of the boil, took them out. But then I did a no-chill.
Okay.
So I transferred the hot wort into a fermenter that had already been primed with the rest of the brew water. So I only brewed with 2 gallons of water and all of the ingredients. I made the beer in 2 gallons of water.
So this is like maybe a 3-gallon batch, 2.5, 3-gallon batch.
It's a 5-gallon batch.
Oh.
But I had all the rest of the water, which was
so it's a
prep.
partial boil.
Yeah, partial boil. So I did 2 gallons of water, all the ingredients, 15 minutes, took it off the heat, added that hot wort to 3 gallons of room temperature water.
Okay.
So it's still not at pitching temperature by any means.
Right.
But sealed it up. It was still very hot. Left it overnight. Came back the next day, pitched the Omega Kveik Lutra. Sealed it up. Within about 5 hours, it was going nuts. And it did its thing. I actually had it in an open fermenter. Ended up having it in an open fermenter. It's it's one of those big bucket fermenters that you use in winemaking a lot.
Oh yeah.
But it also
looks
kind of
like a trash can.
looks like a trash can, but it also kind of mimics the idea of an open fermentation, say in British style brewing,
Right.
or in Belgian style brewing, where they just have the big open. I don't know even what to call them, but
Right.
But it kind of mimics that, and so I allowed the fermentation to happen there. I left the beer alone for a week, maybe 7 days, maybe 8 days, before I transferred it to a secondary, which was a conical fermenter that I like to use for bottling. I left it in there for 3 or 4 days. I fined the beer with gelatin.
Oh.
I let that settle, and then I bottled the beer directly from that conical fermenter. That's it. That's the beer. It's a really simple beer.
Yeah.
The stats on it, the original gravity was 1052. The final gravity is 1.004.
Oh my.
So I call that 6.3 ABV. And I don't know what to call it. I'm calling it a blonde ale, but I think it's too strong to be a blonde ale. 6 points is,
And it's a little hoppier than
and it's
than
too
I would
hoppy.
say a
But
blonde
it
ale.
kind of doesn't. I couldn't make it fit in any of my little style guidelines.
Just call it tasty.
It's tasty.
No, it's
But-
cheers.
Cheers. So
It's way good. I'm surprised that
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it's a no chill because the hops are very present.
yeah. Telemarketer.
They'll call back.
Yeah, I am too. I was really taken aback when it came time to transfer into the secondary. The beer was really pretty clear and kind of ready to go. I find it just to do it.
Yeah.
But I tasted it at that time, and it was much hoppier than I expected it to be.
Huh.
In terms, I should say, the hop presence, my perception of the hops. And I was actually a little bit worried, but after staying in the secondary for a few days and now being in the bottle, this has been in the bottle for about 8 days. So
It was nicely carbonated. I'm surprised that it's a no chill, and I'm surprised that it finished as low as it did because it's not watery at all. It's got plenty of body. You know, I don't know how much of that fruity character that I'm tasting is the hops, and I don't know how much is the yeast.
see, I don't either.
But it's way good.
It's a very drinkable beer. Comparing the two beers, here's the one that
Well, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
Mine is not hopped nearly as much, and it's very, very clean. It's all about the malt. There's a baseline bitterness, but there's not a whole lot of hop character. Yours is bright and has a bite to it, and completely different styles of beer.
very different. Yeah, and the Victory malt added a little color, and it added a little bit of a little crackery or breadiness to it. So again, if somebody knows a better name than a blonde ale, it almost reminds me a little bit of a Belgian Golden. It's not quite as strong as I might want to make one if
Right.
it was a Golden. But
And there's probably a little more hop presence. So maybe it's like a Belgian IPA.
I could go there. I mean, it's one of those ones that when I put all the parameters into my brewing software, I use two different
I
softwares.
said, what the hell is this?
It didn't know what to call it. It's like nothing matches. And so, but that's okay because it's a good beer.
It's a very good beer.
Yeah. And so what I really like about it is that in the depths of my brewing depression, when I couldn't get to my equipment, I gave away a lot of my equipment when we moved.
Right.
All that sort of stuff. I could just grab a pot out of the cabinet that was big enough to hold a couple of gallons of water. I had some DME handy. I had some, given to me yeast and some given to me specialty grains that I went, what can I make with this? And I made a beer, and I didn't chill it down. I did a no chill. I did the simplest, least equipment,
Right.
geek heavy beer I could possibly make, and it's good.
It's way good. Yeah, 15-minute boil, no chill. So your time during brew day was minimal,
Yeah.
and it's so good. I mean, there's nothing to fault it at all. There's no defects in it at all. I get a little bit of floralness as well as the fruitiness too, which makes it maybe more on the leaning toward the Belgian.
See, the more I've probably drank 4 or 5 of these by now, and the more I taste it, the more I think a Belgian pale ale or a Belgian IPA or something like that. It just goes there. And again, I use the Kveik yeast, but at about a 70-degree starting fermentation. I don't know what it would have ramped up to. I didn't
Probably
pay attention to it.
probably a lot.
Probably a lot
higher than that.
And the Kreuzen cap on that sucker was about like that. I mean, it was just like, I thought it was going to start singing songs from Little Shop of Horrors at any moment.
Feed me,
Feed me,
Seymour.
Seymour. And then, and when it was in the original fermentation, the fermenter, it looked very brown. I was like, holy crud, what is
Huh.
But it's not. It's just
No.
got that nice little
Golden.
hue.
Well, it's delicious. And again, this Kveik stuff.
It's just so versatile.
Yeah.
It just, you can
Yeah.
just make about anything with it, except a car.
There's a Johnny Cash song in there somewhere.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Happy brewing.
Happy brewing and drinking.
Show two.
You too.
Come and visit us online at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on homebrewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer.
I've been watching a lot of Jiminy Glick lately. And then I forgot my ginkgo biloba.